we've observed that in the universe, everything balances out. In the Bible, it's called sowing and reaping. If you are into Hinduism, they call it karma, but the Bible represents the oldest religion on earth. So I guess you could argue that Christianity could be considered the oldest religion on earth because it's the contemporary Christianity we have is just the most recent covenant. But the first covenant was done with the first man in Adam. He had the first covenant with the Creator who, like when you have any simulation, you want to enter that simulation. To enter that simulation, you need to create an avatar to enter into that simulation. Otherwise, you can't enter into the simulation because you can't fit. I can't just jump into the computer there and run around in the computer, and maybe people are looking for God in the computer and testing things based off of software code tests, like an AI trying to prove the existence of the designer of the mainframe by running code tests on internal code. That's just stupid. You wouldn't be inside of there. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of evidence of spiritual activity, but because science can't fit it within their tests, they put it in parapsychic science, which means they do recognize that something is happening there. It's just outside of their modes of testing, which I think in the future, that mode of testing may open up more and may be the one way that you're able actually to access Alpha Centauri or distant star systems. Because there's no way to get there with just standard physics. You would need to step into a new physics, but right now they call the new physics spooky, like it's religious, when it's just physics. The spiritual realm is just science. It's just a level is higher. So just like people before, scientists would look at the technology that we have today and they would think that it was witchcraft or magic. Well, likewise, the scientists today also look at the more advanced science of the spiritual realms and just see it as just spooky, magic, religious type of stuff. But one day in the future, scientists will look back at those scientists as foolish, the same way the scientists today look back at people before and saw the technologies that we are like flying as spooky, and laugh at that. So the scientists of the future are going to laugh at scientists today. But that's obvious. No scientist would teach in a book that was written 50 years ago, and you'd ask them why, they'd say because it's wrong. Every scientist has always said that the previous scientific books are wrong. They're not going to teach them because they're wrong. Likewise, future scientists are going to look at the science books today and say, I'm not teaching in those. In the year 3000, they're not going to teach in the books from the year 2023. They're going to say, why would I teach in books from 2023? And they say, why wouldn't you? Because they're wrong. So we know future scientists are going to say these books are wrong. So we know that there's always a balance. You've seen it in your life. Others have seen it in their life. When you do something to somebody, it usually comes back and something happens to you. When every force has an equal and opposite force. We see that in the laws of physics and we see it in the laws of spiritual realm. So the sowing and reaping that God spoke of in the Holy Bible, it's observable, it's testable. We've tested things. If you shoot a missile, they have to estimate the projectile because what goes up comes back down. And so we see in this physical realm and the spiritual realm behaves the exact same way. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes around. Sowing and reaping. So thereby, it's important that people do right by others. Now this adds a building point here. I feel the wisdom again. Thank you, Daddy. A lot of times we'll try to do right by other people. But if we know that scientifically it's impossible that there was not a creator, an initiator of reality, then that person needs to be included too. You can't just not do wrong to others, but then do wrong to the creator. You need to do right to the creator and to others.